Trust is like a house you build brick by brick, one wrong move, and the whole damn thing comes crashing down. I'm Lynn, 32, married, working in marketing, and the kind of sister who'd burn the world down for her brother, John. He's 35, a construction engineer, the guy every mom in Ohio wants for their daughter. Picture this. John's got that rugged charm, broad shoulders from years on job sites, and a laugh that fills a room. Every Sunday, he's glued to the TV for Ohio State football, cracking open a Bud Light with his buddies, cheering like the Buckeyes are his religion. He bought a nice split-level house in the suburbs, nothing fancy but solid, with a lawn he mows every Saturday like clockwork. That's John. Dependable, hardworking, the guy who'd give you the shirt off his back. Me? I'm the one who worries about him constantly because, God, I love that idiot more than anything. Then Ashley strutted into his life like she was auditioning for a Hollywood blockbuster. I swear, she looked like she stepped out of a Victoria's Secret catalog. Long blonde hair, blue eyes that sparkled like a 4th of July sparkler, and a smile that screamed, I know I'm hot. John was done for the second he saw her at some bar in Columbus. He told me about her over wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, his eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. Lynn, she's the one, he said, grinning like a fool. I tried to be happy for him, but something about Ashley felt off. Her laugh was too perfect, like she practiced it in front of a mirror. Her compliments to John, "You're so strong, babe," sounded like lines from a bad rom-com. I told myself I was just being a paranoid sister, the kind who thinks no one's good enough for her brother. But deep down, my gut was screaming, this chick's trouble. John didn't see it. He was too busy playing Prince Charming. Within 6 months, he asked Ashley to move into his house, that house he'd saved for years to buy, the one with the big oak tree out front and the porch where he'd grill burgers for our family barbecues. Ashley didn't just move in, she took over. John paid for everything, the mortgage, the utilities, even her fancy oat milk lattes from Starbucks every morning. And get this, he was covering her grad school tuition for some communications degree she swore she'd use to change the world. I nearly choked on my coffee when he told me. Lynn, I want to take care of her, he said, all earnest, like he was proposing marriage. Take care of her? She was 26, not a damn orphan. I bit my tongue, but every time I saw Ashley's designer handbags or her new iPhone, all on John's dime, I wanted to scream, wake up, bro. Men in love are so freaking blind. The first crack in the facade came a few months after they moved in together. I was at John's place for dinner, just the three of us, with Ashley's famous avocado toast that she bragged about like she invented it. John was in the garage fixing something, and I was in the living room flipping through channels. ESPN, naturally, because John's got Buckeye fever. Ashley was in the kitchen, FaceTiming her friend, her voice all sugary and smug. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but her words hit me like a slap. Oh, don't worry, John's got everything covered. I don't even lift a finger. She laughed this sharp, mean girl cackle and added, he's so whipped, it's almost too easy. My stomach twisted. Whipped? My brother, who built half the bridges in this county, was her personal ATM? I stood there, frozen, gripping the remote so hard I thought it'd snap. I wanted to storm in and call her out, but John walked in, all smiles, asking if I wanted more wine. I forced a grin, said, sure, bro, but my mind was racing. Was I overreacting? Was this just how girls like Ashley talked? Looking back, I wish I'd grabbed John right then, dragged him to the garage, and told him to kick her out. That moment in the kitchen was a neon sign flashing gold digger, and I ignored it. I told myself I was just jealous, protective, maybe even imagining things. After all, John was happy, wasn't he? He'd come home from 12-hour shifts, still beaming because Ashley was there, batting her lashes, playing the perfect girlfriend. But that FaceTime call stuck with me, like a splinter I couldn't dig out. Every time I saw Ashley after that, her smile looked faker, her hugs colder. I kept quiet, thinking I was wrong, but now, I'd give anything to go back and slap some sense into myself and her. That was the start, the first hint that Ashley wasn't just trouble, she was a damn hurricane, and John's heart was ground zero. Love's like a damn filter on Instagram. It makes everything look perfect until you see the ugly truth underneath. I'm Lynn, and watching my brother John spiral was like watching a car crash in slow motion. He wasn't the same guy anymore, not the one who'd blast Springsteen in his truck or crack jokes that had me snorting Diet Coke. His eyes were sunken, like he hadn't slept in weeks, and his laugh? Gone, replaced by this tight-lipped grimace. He'd sit on his couch staring at the TV, ESPN reruns of Ohio State games, but it was like he wasn't even there. I'd drop by his house, that suburban dream with the oak tree out front, and find him nursing a Bud Light, bags under his eyes, looking 10 years older. "Work's kicking my ass, Lynn," he'd say, shrugging it off. Bullshit. I knew work wasn't the problem. John built bridges for a living, handled stress like a pro. This was something else. Someone else. Ashley was acting like she'd already checked out. That girl had the nerve to float around John's house like a queen, barely acknowledging him. She'd come home from her grad school classes, plop on the couch, and glue her eyes to her iPhone, giggling at texts or snapping selfies for her Insta stories. John would try to talk, maybe ask about her day, and she'd just roll her eyes like he was some annoying roommate. "I'm busy, babe," she'd snap, fingers flying over her screen. Busy? Doing what? Posting thirst traps? Worse, she started pulling this study group crap, staying out till 2 a.m., claiming she was working on a project at some friend's place. Study group, my ass. I went to college, I know those are code for partying or worse. One night, John asked where she'd been, and she lost it. "What, you gonna control me now? Back off." I wasn't there, but when John told me, I swear my blood boiled. I wanted to drive over and yank those blonde extensions out of her head. It all came to a head one night at my place. John showed up looking like a kicked puppy, carrying a six-pack of Coors Light. We sat in my kitchen, the one with the chipped Formica counter and the fridge humming too loud, cracking open those beers. The TV was on low, some dumb reality show, but neither of us was watching. He took a long swig, then just broke. "Lynn, I feel like a ghost in my own house," he said, voice low like he was ashamed. "Ashley doesn't even look at me anymore." My heart cracked right there. He told me how she'd brush him off, how she'd rather text her friends than talk to him. Then he dropped the bomb. She'd started comparing him to other guys. She says stuff like, "You're lucky to have me, John. Guys like me don't grow on trees." I nearly spit out my beer. Lucky? This queen bee thought she was doing him a favor? I gripped my bottle so tight I thought it'd shatter, picturing her smug face, tossing her hair like she was freaking Beyoncé. But that wasn't the worst of it. John leaned forward, elbows on the table, and his voice got quieter, like he was scared to say it out loud. "Last week, she told me I'm replaceable," he said. "Said there's a line of guys out there. Richer, hotter, just waiting for her." I froze, my beer halfway to my mouth. Replaceable? My brother, the guy who'd give his last dollar to a stranger who paid for her whole damn life? I saw red, like someone flipped a switch in my brain. "She said what?" I slammed my bottle down, the foam spilling over. John just stared at the table like he believed her. "I don't know, Lynn. Maybe she's right." Right! I wanted to shake him, scream that he was worth 1 million of her. Instead, I reached across the table, grabbed his hand, and said, "John, you listen to me. She's full of shit. You're the best guy I know." But inside, I was raging. Ashley wasn't just using him. She was tearing him apart, piece by piece. That night, as John drove back to his house, I sat there in my kitchen, the Coors Light now warm and flat. I kept replaying Ashley's words in my head. Replaceable. Like he was some cheap Walmart lamp. Who the hell did she think she was? I pictured her lounging in John's house, probably texting some frat bro while my brother sat alone, questioning his worth. I wanted to storm over, kick down the door, and scream in her face, "You don't deserve to breathe the same air as him." But I didn't. I just sat there, stewing, my mind racing with ways to make her pay. I knew then that this wasn't just a bad girlfriend situation. Ashley was poison, and she was killing the brother I loved. I swore to myself I'd watch her, wait for her to slip up, because no one gets to hurt John like that and walk away clean. Betrayal's like a knife in the dark. You don't see it coming, but it cuts deep enough to kill. I'm Lynn, and by now, I knew Ashley was poison, draining my brother John like a leech. But nothing prepared me for the bomb that dropped one Tuesday night. John was at my place, sprawled on my couch, staring at his phone like it held the secrets to the universe. The TV was on, some Ohio State highlight reel, but the air felt heavy, like a storm was brewing. His phone buzzed, and he picked it up, face going pale. It was Sarah, a friend from their grad school days, and her voice was sharp, no bullshit. John, I can't sit on this anymore. Ashley's screwing around with other guys. She's been calling you her sugar daddy behind your back. I was in the kitchen grabbing a Diet Coke, but I froze, can in hand, as John put the call on speaker. Sugar daddy? My brother, who busted his ass building bridges, was her meal ticket? I wanted to cheer Sarah for spilling the tea, but my blood was boiling. Ashley was gonna pay. Now, here's the kicker. Sarah wasn't just being a good friend. I found out later she had her own axe to grind. Back in college, Ashley pulled a classic mean girl move, stealing Sarah's boyfriend, some hotshot wide receiver on the Buckeyes' rival team, Michigan. Sarah never forgave her for that locker room drama, and this was her chance to settle the score. Picture it. Two sorority types, all fake smiles and Instagram filters, duking it out over a guy in Letterman jackets. I didn't love Sarah's petty vibe, but damn, I was ready to high-five her for this. She'd been waiting years to knock Ashley off her pedestal, and that call was a straight-up knockout punch. I leaned against the counter, smirking, thinking, go on, Sarah, bury her. But John? He just sat there, eyes hollow, like his whole world was crumbling. I wanted to hug him, but I knew he needed to process this gut punch. John didn't break down, though. He got scary quiet, like a man plotting a war. I'd never seen him like this, all focused, like he was channeling some Netflix detective. He grabbed Ashley's phone. She'd left it on the counter after one of her study group nights, and started digging. First, he checked her Google Maps history, something only a paranoid genius would think of. Sure enough, it showed late-night trips to places nowhere near her campus. Bars, clubs, even a swanky condo downtown. My jaw dropped. John, you're a freaking mastermind, I said, half laughing, half shocked. He didn't smile, just kept scrolling, his jaw tight. Then he found her texts, not even locked, like she thought he was too dumb to check. Messages to her friend, stuff like, John's clueless, I'm living the life. And wait till you meet this new guy, he's loaded. I stood behind him, reading over his shoulder, my hands shaking with rage. New guy? She was playing my brother like a damn fiddle. But the real knife came when John decided to follow her. He'd had enough of her lies, so one evening, he tracked her to a Starbucks. You know, the one with the drive-thru and overpriced pumpkin spice lattes every basic girl loves. He parked across the street, hood up, watching through the window like a damn spy. And there she was, Ashley, all dolled up in her tight jeans and fake lashes, leaning across a table, kissing some guy. I wasn't there, but when John told me, his voice cracked, and I felt my heart shatter. The guy? Mike, his old coworker. The one John had introduced to Ashley to help her get a part-time gig at his firm. Mike, who now drove a shiny BMW and strutted around like he owned the place. John's face went white as he described it, Ashley's hand on Mike's arm, their lips locked right there in public, like she didn't care who saw. Mike, of all people. John had vouched for him, trusted him, and now this? It wasn't just cheating. It was a slap in the face, a deliberate middle finger to everything John stood for. I sat with John later that night, back at his house, the one he'd poured his soul into. The living room was dark, just the glow of a Bud Light sign flickering from the basement bar. He stared at the floor, hands clenched, like he was holding himself together by sheer will. Lynn, I thought she loved me, he said, voice barely a whisper. I wanted to scream, to drive to that Starbucks and drag Ashley out by her hair. Instead, I knelt in front of him, grabbing his shoulders. John, she's trash. She doesn't deserve you. Never did. My voice was shaking, but I meant every word. Inside, I was plotting. Ashley thought she could humiliate my brother and walk away? Hell no. I knew John was hurt, but I also saw that fire in his eyes, the same one he had when he built something unbreakable. This wasn't over. Ashley was about to learn what happens when you mess with my family. Justice hits like a freight train, unstoppable, and oh so sweet when it slams into someone who deserves it. I'm Lynn, and after Ashley's betrayal cut my brother John to the bone, I was ready for her to crash and burn. John, though, he didn't cry or beg, he turned into a damn avenger. The morning after he caught Ashley locking lips with Mike at that Starbucks, he went full scorched earth. No warning, no hesitation. He canceled their joint credit card, the one she used for her overpriced Sephora hauls. He called the bank, froze the account that paid her grad school tuition, and even changed the locks on his house. Oh, and the cherry on top. He swapped the passwords for Netflix, Hulu, and every streaming service she mooched off him. I was at his place when he did it, watching him type furiously on his laptop, his jaw set like he was building a bridge under deadline. "John, you're a freaking legend," I said, grinning so hard my face hurt. He just nodded, eyes cold, and said, "She's done, Lynn." I'd never been prouder of my brother. He was taking back his life. Ashley didn't see it coming until the hammer dropped. A week later, she got hit with a tuition bill she couldn't pay, and that's when she lost her damn mind. She stormed to John's house, banging on the door like she was auditioning for a reality show. I was there, sipping a Coors Light on the couch, ready for the fireworks. The door swung open, and there she was, hair a mess, mascara smudged, screaming like a banshee. "John, what the hell is this? You can't do this to me." Her voice was shrill like nails on a chalkboard. John stood in the doorway, arms crossed, cool as ice. "Ashley, you made your choice," he said, voice steady like he was reading her a court order. She tried to push past him, but he blocked her, holding up his phone. On the screen? A photo of her and Mike, all cozy at Starbucks, plus screenshots of her texts. John's such a loser, I'm just biding my time. I leaned forward, smirking, thinking, "Bust her ass, bro." Ashley's face went from red to ghost white. She stammered, trying to spin some pathetic lie. "That's not... You're taking it out of context," she squealed, hands flailing. John didn't flinch. He scrolled to another text, one she sent to her friend. "I'll milk John for a few more months, then I'm out." I couldn't hold it in. "You're a damn clown, Ashley," I shouted from the couch, my beer raised like a trophy. She shot me a death glare, but I just laughed. John stepped closer, towering over her, and laid it all bare. "You used me, lied to me, cheated with Mike, my friend. You're done here." His words were like bullets, each one hitting her harder. She tried to interrupt. "John, please, I can explain." But he cut her off. "Save it. I've got all the receipts." Receipts, God, I loved that. Americans live for dragging someone with proof, and John was serving it hot. Then came the moment I'll replay in my head forever. John looked her dead in the eyes, his voice low and final. "Ashley, you chose this path. Now get out and don't come back." It was like something out of a movie, the way he stood there, unshakable, while she fell apart. She started crying, fake tears streaking her face, begging like a kid caught stealing. "John, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it," she sobbed, clutching her purse like it was her lifeline. But John was a rock. No wavering, no second chances. I stood up, arms crossed, grinning like a Cheshire cat. "Time's up, princess," I said, pointing to the door. She shot me another glare, but she knew she was done. John turned away, shutting the door in her face, and I swear I heard angels sing. My brother was back, stronger than ever. Ashley didn't go quietly, of course. She grabbed her stuff, those tacky designer bags and overpriced heels, and stormed out screaming like a spoiled brat. "You'll regret this, John. You'll see," she yelled, her voice echoing down the driveway. I followed her to the porch, laughing my ass off. "Regret? Sweetie, you're the one who's screwed," I shouted, watching her shove her crap into her beat-up Honda. She flipped me off, tires squealing as she peeled out, but I didn't care. She was gone, and John was free. Back inside, I hugged him, hard, like when we were kids. "You did it, bro," I said, my voice soft for once. He nodded, a small smile breaking through like the sun after a storm. Ashley thought she could play him forever, but she forgot one thing. Nobody messes with my family and walks away clean. Karma's a cold, hard bitch. It doesn't just knock you down, it buries you in the dirt you dug. I'm Lynn, and after Ashley tried to destroy my brother John, I was ready to watch her world crumble. She didn't go quietly, of course. That snake slithered onto Instagram, posting cryptic stories about being betrayed by a selfish loser. Subtle, right? She spread rumors around town, whining to anyone who'd listen, that John was a cheapskate who abandoned her. I heard it from a coworker at the marketing firm who saw Ashley's teary Snapchat rant at a dive bar. But here's the thing. Nobody bought her crap. John's buddies, our neighbors, even his coworkers at the construction site. They all knew the truth. Ashley was the gold digger who cheated with Mike, his own friend. I'd walk into the grocery store, hear folks whispering, "That girl's a hot mess." And I'd smirk, thinking, "Yep, karma's got her number." Ashley was screaming into the void, and it was glorious. While Ashley was spiraling, John was rebuilding. A few months after he kicked her out, he met Emily, a banker with a smile that could light up a Buckeyes game. I met her at John's place during a Sunday barbecue, the kind with burgers sizzling on the grill and classic rock blaring from his Bluetooth speaker. Emily was everything Ashley wasn't. Kind, grounded, with a laugh that felt real, not rehearsed for TikTok. She'd bring over homemade mac and cheese, the cheesy kind that sticks to your ribs, and sit with John on the porch, cheering for Ohio State like she'd been a fan forever. I watched them together, her hand on his arm, his eyes bright again, and I swear I nearly cried. "John, she's a keeper," I said, nudging him as we washed dishes. He grinned, that old goofy grin I hadn't seen in years, and said, "Yeah, Lynn, I think so too." Emily wasn't just a girlfriend. She was proof John was healing, that he deserved real love. I looked at her and thought, this is what Ashley could never be. But Ashley wasn't done trying to claw her way back. One night, John got a text from her, out of the blue, claiming she was pregnant. With his kid. I was at his place, cracking open a Coors Light when he showed me the message. I laughed so hard I nearly choked. Pregnant? Her? No way. John's face was calm, but his eyes had that steely glint. "Lynn, we haven't been close in over a year," he said, voice low. "A year?" I slapped the counter, howling. "She's full of it." Sure enough, Sarah, our drama-loving insider, spilled the tea. Ashley had pulled this stunt before, faking a pregnancy to trap some other guy back in college. It didn't work then, and it sure as hell wasn't working now. I pictured Ashley typing that text, thinking she could guilt John into taking her back, and I wanted to scream, "You're pathetic!" John just blocked her number, cool as ever, and I raised my beer. "To dodging bullets," I said, and he clinked his bottle against mine, laughing. That was my brother. Unbreakable. Then came the final nail in Ashley's coffin. And oh, it was sweet. Word got around, thanks to a friend who knew Ashley's cousin, that her parents had cut her off completely. Not just money, but everything. No more calls, no more holiday invites, nothing. Why? They found out about her lies, the cheating, the fake pregnancy stunt, all of it. Ashley's folks were solid middle-class types, the kind who'd brag about their kid at church but valued honor above all. Learning their daughter was a manipulative leech? That hit them hard. They were ashamed, mortified that she'd stooped so low. I heard Ashley had to drop out of grad school, couldn't pay the bills, and ended up slinging wings at Applebee's, wearing one of those tacky aprons and fake smiles for tips. Applebee's. The irony was chef's kiss perfect. Miss High and Mighty serving mozzarella sticks to frat bros. I drove by one night, saw her through the window, looking tired and defeated, and I thought, that's what you get, you snake. Months later, I sat with John and Emily at his house, the one he'd reclaimed. The living room was warm, lit by a cheap lamp from Target, with Emily's lasagna cooling on the table. We were watching a Buckeyes game, cheering as they scored, and I felt this peace, like everything was right again. Ashley thought she was untouchable, a queen who could use people and toss them aside. But she underestimated John, underestimated us. Her lies, her schemes, her fake tears, they all came crashing down, leaving her with nothing. I looked at John, laughing with Emily, his hand in hers, and my heart swelled. "You're gonna be okay, bro," I said, voice soft. He nodded, squeezing my shoulder. "Thanks, Lynn, for having my back." I smiled, thinking, always. Life's funny, isn't it? Ashley saw herself as the prize, the girl every guy should beg for. But her arrogance, her cruelty, it stripped her bare. She's out there now, scraping by, while John's got a future brighter than she could ever imagine. I learned something through all this. Don't ever take the people who love you for granted. Betray them, and the price is steeper than you'll ever expect. John, he's proof that good guys can win, that you can rise from the ashes and find something real. I'm damn proud of him, and I'll keep telling this story because it's not just about Ashley's fall. It's about my brother, the best man I know, and the life he's building one honest brick at a time.